Short, sharp counsel about truth and love. Hospitality has boundaries when teachers deny Christ came in the flesh. This is Seek, Go, Create. You're listening to Read the New Testament in 90 Days, 27 books in order, in context. We're walking through the New Testament the way it was written so you can hear it the way the first churches, the early churches, the first believers actually did. Make sure, I remind you of this every time, make sure you're going to k2m.foundation/NT90. Make sure you can get the reading plan. You could get all the links to previous episodes. And after we finish this up, it'll be a good resource to get access to the entire plan and share it with others and all. Good resources and all there. k2m.foundation/NT90. We are getting close to the letters and books of the New Testament finishing up. Today's stop, 2 John, just 13 verses, one urgent, very urgent message, it seems, when we really take it in context. Here's some key facts. John is the writer. The date is AD 66, like these other letters that we're reading from John. And it's written the same year as 1 John and 3 John, we believe, during the early months of the Jewish revolt that was going on in Jerusalem. The audience, this is fascinating. It is, quote, the elect lady and her children, most likely a specific woman who led or hosted a house church, not, as some have said, a metaphor for a congregation. It just really seems that this is addressed to an individual. Some early church fathers, like Clement of Alexandria, believed that she was actually a real person. The personal tone and also the parallel with 3 John that we will look at next, which was addressed to Gaius, support this. It just reads like a letter that's written to an individual. And this is fascinating. Shouldn't be controversial, but it could be. She had authority over all of those who entered her home. And in a world where churches met in homes, that meant authority over who got a platform and who, we would say, got the microphone in today's world, but who got to speak in front of the group. And this letter is addressing being cautious about who you allow to get up and speak in front of the group of people. The setting, it's 36 years post-resurrection. The resurrection is an important topic of this letter. False teachers are traveling city to city, seeking hospitality and looking for places that they can teach and preach. This was in 66 AD. 2,000 years later, that still applies. So not funny, but anyway, we're looking at it in context, but boy, we could see how some of this applies today. Historical context. Rome, Nero is still on the throne. He doesn't have much time left. Persecution, massive persecution is continuing. In Jerusalem, the temple is intact. There's 4 years before the destruction. And what we now know is that the beginnings of the Jewish and Roman war have started. So it has begun. The church, false teachers are strategic. They travel, seek hospitality, act real nice, probably drop some names, arrive as brothers, and once welcomed, they begin teaching that Jesus wasn't truly flesh. They start sowing doubt within the body. The tension, hospitality was sacred, but these teachers deny the incarnation while speaking of Christ in elevated terms. They probably use scripture, they probably use terms, but at its root, what they're teaching is false. Now, let's talk a little bit more about this. Why being addressed to a woman? House churches, we mentioned this earlier, but let's mention it again. House churches often met in the homes of wealthy or socially prominent women. We see that throughout the Bible. Lydia in Philippi, Nympha in Colossae, and Priscilla in Rome and Ephesus. Hosting meant leading, or at least gatekeeping. When John tells this woman not to welcome certain teachers, he's addressing someone with real authority. She's not just serving cake and cookies. She has authority in this setting, and he's addressing this letter to her. Her hospitality decisions shaped what her congregation or that group heard. Why now? Why is John writing this now? He writes a personal note to protect one specific house church. Truth and love belong together. Don't receive those who deny that Christ came in the flesh. Here's what you're going to encounter. 2 John is brief and protective. Truth and love are inseparable. You'll hear about truth and love together. Grace, mercy, and peace will be with us in truth and love. The deceivers. Many deceivers have gone out into the world. Those who do not confess the coming of Jesus Christ in the flesh. In the previous letter, 1 John, he called them antichrists. So he doesn't use that wording here, but that's the same thing that he used in 1 John. The instruction that he gives, do not receive him or them into your house or give them any greeting. You can turn them away. The reason, whoever greets him takes part in his wicked works. Truth without love becomes harsh. Love without truth becomes compromised. The church needs both. And here's why the incarnation matters so much. This is so important and foundational to the gospel. If Christ didn't truly take flesh, he couldn't truly die. And if he couldn't truly die, he couldn't truly rise from the dead. The resurrection stands or falls with the incarnation. John isn't guarding an abstract doctrine. He's protecting the foundation of everything. This is the foundation of the gospel, the resurrection, and he is protecting it strongly. Okay, the reading assignment, very short letter here. You're going to read 2 John in one sitting. Have fun with it. After this, the next episode, we look at 3 John, leadership, hospitality, and everyday faithfulness. The contrast between Diotrephes and Demetrius. We'll see that and see how it's playing out in this first century. Again, make sure that you continue following along at k2m.foundation/NT90. That's the hub for all that we are doing here. Okay, now, picture this before you read 2 John. It's AD 66. John has just finished his general letter, but he has 2 more notes to write, personal letters to people he knows. The first goes to a woman who leads a house church. He calls her the elect lady. She has authority. Her home is where believers gather, and her hospitality decisions will determine whose voice gets heard. The false teachers know this. They travel city to city, seeking welcome among believers. Once inside, they begin to teach, slowly, subtly, that Jesus wasn't truly flesh. John's instruction is simple. Truth and love belong together. Do not receive those who deny the incarnate Christ. Now, let's read.